Hey brother, and do you have any idea how many times I watched Aladdin growing up? Actually, you probably do. We are brothers, you were there. But in all the times I've watched it, there's something I never really noticed until now. And that is how the genie owes Aladdin a wish. Before we begin, I just want to give a quick shout out to Rob Edwards, who, as far as I know, is the original creator of this theory. He sent it over to me a couple of weeks ago and said he would be happy for us to make a video about it. I will leave a link in the description down to Rob's original blog post, and I highly recommend you go check it out because it is awesome. Okay, so in case you need a quick refresher and haven't seen Aladdin in a while because, well, I can't think of a good reason. Here's a breakdown of the so-called wishes. Actually, first, before any wishing is made, Aladdin tricks the genie into getting him out of the Cave of Wonders, thus setting a dangerous precedent, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Then is the first actual wish for the genie to make Aladdin a prince. This is where things start to get messy, but we're gonna keep moving. After that, the second wish is when Aladdin is thrown off a cliff into the ocean and the genie rescues him. But I put wish in air quotes there because at the time of the wish, Aladdin is unconscious and drowning and doesn't actually say anything. And then the final wish is for the genie to be set free, and that one is actually pretty clean. I don't have any problems with counting that one as a wish, but the other two are up for debate. So let's examine. On the surface, the most problem-ridden one is the second wish, the rescue. Basically, for the reasons I already said. Aladdin is unconscious, he's drowning, he doesn't say anything, and therefore he is incapable of making a wish. The genie just pops out and reads the situation, but even says,
"Can't help you unless you make a wish."
But here's the thing, at this point in the movie, we know this isn't true. He did help Aladdin get out of the Cave of Wonders earlier without him actually making a wish, so it is possible for the genie to help. But no, instead, the genie suggests what he thinks would be a good wish given the situation, and then gravity forces Aladdin to, nod, which the genie takes as a yes, rescues him, and counts it as the second wish. But I am calling BS. One, because again, Aladdin didn't actually say anything, and two, because the genie hasn't even granted the first wish yet.
Genie, I wish for you to make me a prince.
At that point, Aladdin is not a prince.
What if they find out I'm not really a prince?
He has all the stuff a prince might have. 75 golden camels, 53 purple peacocks, 95 white Persian monkeys, birds that warble on key, all in his world-class menagerie for which he charges no fee. Which is really very generous of him. He doesn't have to do that. He could be making a killing on that menagerie. I mean, do you know how hard it is to see exotic animals in the Middle East? Because I don't. Actually, I'm sorry, that is a lot of animals. Are we sure he's a prince and not a zookeeper? Also, did it say he had slaves at some point in that song?
Slaves, he's got servants and flunkies.
Well, alright then. In any case, despite all the stuff he owns, he's still not a prince. He's just a guy who looks like a prince.
How do I look?
Like a prince.
Yeah. Like a prince. The genie is very aware of this. In fact, he keeps advising Aladdin to tell Jasmine the truth, that he is a commoner.
Tell her the truth!
You know, it's interesting that he says he can't help Aladdin unless he makes a wish, and yet he's so willing to offer advice when it comes to helping woo Jasmine. That's because the advice is all still part of wish number one, making him a prince, which, when you examine it, is a little bit more complicated than you might think. Just think about it. In order for Aladdin to be a prince, he would first have to have somewhere to rule over. Right? So does that mean the genie created an entire country with a history and a lineage for Aladdin to have been descendant from? I guess he does have ultimate cosmic power, so he could rewrite history so that Aladdin was indeed born a prince, but that is obviously not the path he's taking. First of all, when he's questioned about it, Aladdin doesn't even know what country he's supposed to be from.
Where did it say you were from?
Much farther than you've traveled, I'm sure.
And second, we actually meet Aladdin's father in the third Aladdin movie, and he is distinctly not royal. Well, unless you count him being the king of thieves, which I don't. But there are other ways of becoming a prince, and thankfully, Disney has laid out some guidelines for this. Well, I mean, they have them for becoming a princess, but I have to assume it would work for becoming a prince as well. We actually have an entire video about just that right here if you want to check that out. But in a nutshell, if Aladdin wasn't born royal, he would either then have to commit an act of heroism or marry royal. So to make Aladdin a prince, the genie could have been working from either of those angles. I mean, certainly he could have created a situation for Aladdin to perform an act of heroism, and actually eventually he does do this when he defeats Jafar, and it is that act that finally convinces the Sultan that Aladdin is worthy of marrying his daughter.
That's right. You've certainly proven your worth as far as I'm concerned.
But that is not the genie's work. In fact, when Aladdin commits the act of heroism, the genie is actually working for Jafar. And I think it's worth noting that the Sultan doesn't actually make him a prince. He just changes the law so that Jasmine doesn't have to marry a prince. The real way in which the genie is carrying out Aladdin's wish is to get him married to a princess, which Aladdin does eventually do. 2 movies later. Bravo, Genie. Wish granted. Now, I will agree, at the end of the first movie, after the genie is set free, he is off the hook for any incomplete wishes. But until that point, Aladdin's first wish actually still has yet to be granted. And therefore, any action taken by the genie during that time while Aladdin owns the lamp must be considered an effort to fulfill that wish. Which is why the paper-thin arguments for the granting of the second wish don't even matter. Because at that point, the genie was already obligated to save Aladdin. If he doesn't, fulfillment of the first wish cannot be granted. It does sound a little sneaky, but I mean, it's not like the genie doesn't have good motivation to be rushing through these wishes. I mean, for one, he might feel like he's actually already duped out of one with the whole Cave of Wonders fiasco. And 2, Aladdin has already promised to set him free on the third wish. I mean, if centuries of slavery were about to end for me, I'd be rushing through those wishes too. Anyway, Ben, my question for you and everyone else is, 1, do you think the genie gypped Aladdin out of a third wish? And 2, what would you wish for if you had 3 wishes? I'm always really interested to hear how people answer that question. We'd love to read what you have to say in the dowel section down below.
These socks are amazing!
Guys, thanks for watching as always. Please leave a like on this video if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Disney videos. If you'd like to see who Simba's grandfather is, I recommend you check out this video right here. Or if you'd like to know the mystery behind the Great Stone Dragon in Mulan, I'd recommend this video right here. But Ben, that's all I got for you today, man. I will see you in another life, brother.